So, ladies and gentlemen, fanboys and girls, nerds, geeks, and otaku, welcome back and welcome home.
Well, hello there, Apple Bites. This is your Apple Bite Written Writ Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ. A show where you and I and you get creative and have fun. And today we got a plethora of people joining with us because we are about to have some fun. James and Cheech from the ArtCarp, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And Mark from It Came From the Radio.
Hello,
And of
hello,
course,
hello.
Roman Tony is Roman right in with us. And Mr. Nat should be joining us soon, I think. Mark, are you ready for this weekend?
Sure.
I gotta say, like, I feel like Big Apple snuck up on us.
No, as the official show of the Big Apple Con, we've been mentioning this every single week for the past 6-7 months. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
It's earlier this year, right?
Usually it's around this time. So yeah, it's a little earlier because usually it's around like December because it's the Christmas con. But I guess Mike got a good deal on the hotel. I have no idea.
Now, looking forward to checking out Big Apple Con this weekend. Trying to have some fun and check out the guests. I already have an interview or two lined up, so it should be interesting.
Big Apple always is an interesting convention. Like, it's a small big show or a big little show. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like its own beast that's been around forever. I mean, it's the longest running convention in New York City.
It is completely.
Yeah. They were even around before the new version of New York Comic Con. Yeah, it's been around for a long time, man.
Yeah, he's just been moving it from place to place.
Yeah, I mean, it started at the Church in Columbus Circle, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm sure you know this. Do you know the story of how it became to be?
I
don't
remember it. Well, you don't know either.
Me either.
I do remember going there several times. I think they did it multiple times in a year just to buy old comics. I do remember at the church site. Yeah.
So, the Javits Center had another convention before New York Comic Con. I believe it was 92, 93. Right. Everything gets all fuzzy in my head because I'm old.
There was a version of it like a few years before, and then for a bunch of years there wasn't anything or nothing big, and then New York Comic Con came.
Yeah. So the Javits one, I forget the name of it, but that year, the Image guys just showed up unannounced, and it created a massive chaos in that show floor. And then the second year that we're going to do it, the fire marshal closed it down. So all the people couldn't get in because the fire marshal's like, yeah, it's not happening. Now, of course, depends who you ask why the fire marshal closed it down. That's a whole other story.
Right, I remember that. It was a long time ago. That was actually that one that Image came. That was the first con I ever went, and I mean because me and my friend were supposed to meet up. We never met up, which happens all the time. We never met. Like I had,
sounds like you
I
do this all the
went with
time,
like
Tony.
nobody. I was like, oh man, this sucks with nobody. That was my first lesson. Bring somebody, dummy.
So Mike Carbonaro was like, well, there's all these vendors here, and we got nothing to do, so let's go to find a venue to turn this into a convention. And they went to the Columbus Church in Columbus Circle, and that's how Big Apple Con came to be, because somebody shut down the other convention, the Javits Center.
I love the idea of this just rogue convention hanging out in a church. That's incredible. What a can-do attitude.
It was a church basement, no less. So it was like very weird going there. Because I heard about it. It's like, oh, it's going to be a church basement.
Wow.
But this church,
and he couldn't do 2-day shows because it was a church. So you had to only be on Saturday.
That must be a pretty expansive basement.
Yeah, it is. It's huge.
It was pretty big. It was pretty big for what it was, but it was like dark and super dark.
It's a church basement.
No air conditioning. It was hot. I just remember in the summer, I was like, good God, it's all, and they're just crammed in there. And then it slowly moved to the Penta Hotel, which was the Hotel Penta, the Pennsylvania. Then it became like another name, and now it's gone. It's completely gone, that hotel, because Madison Square Garden took over that area.
Yeah.
And now they moved to the New York Hotel.
That's right. They were in the Pennsylvania for a long time. Some good memories there.
Because that was the home of the creation conventions, like the Star Trek ones. That was where that was always held. And that was like the convention center was the Penta Hotel, because you can take the train in, and it's right across the street from Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
But now that's gone. So it's like a block over, and it's close enough.
Well, at least in the New Yorker, they got the TikTok diners. So.
Well, hotel conventions are so much fun. It's like staying at a hotel, but not really. You get the water, you can't sleep there, but you get to
Of course, Shadow's like, wait, that's what she said. Oh my God, folks! Yeah, it's gonna be one of those shows today. We'll be talking more about Big Apple Con, but right now we're gonna turn the floor over to James and Cheech. Why don't you tell the people who you are? Give them the spiel. Go for it.
The spiel. All right. Well, I'm James Farmer. I am the carpenter or the carp of ArtCarp, and Cheech, you are.
I'm the artist for ArtCarp.
Yeah.
It's such a simple name. I'm surprised nobody else has
it. We started as the artist and the carpenter, but kind of shortened down to make it a little more concise and easy. But yeah, we came into business 3 years ago. At the end of my engineering career, I decided to kind of launch this right alongside with Cheech here, and we partnered up so that we could bring our two very interesting sort of specialties together of fine woodworking and fine art, and we've been going strong ever since.
I'm surprised you don't call yourselves James and Awesome Cheech.
Well, a little wordier. But yeah, that was Chauncey. That's those are our two world record dice towers. The one on the left was our original tallest dice tower in the world. That was Dragonspire. It came in at 12 feet. And then this year we built out the one on the right you can see there, which is Dungeon Crawl, which came in at 15 feet. And next year we're coming out with our new, even taller dice tower, because there is a challenger. There's someone challenging our title here.
Ooh.
And we had already started our new one before he had even started his. But yeah, we'll be coming up with an even taller and much cooler one next year, which we hope to debut in Chicago. Yeah,
feel to this.
It was, if you can't tell, we really like to bring all of our talents into this, between the fine woodworking and the fine art, and I still like to bring the engineering into our work as well.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah.
Really make these incredible display pieces.
It's amazing to watch the dice come down this time. I stayed watching it for like a while because you guys were doing that little special thing, and everybody was putting their dice in there, and I'm like, Oh, and I gotta say that was a clever, a charity, and people were having fun with the dice. It just kind of melted the heart.
Aw.
It's a great way for us to be able to give back. What a perfect way to be able to plant a few trees while we're out there and paying for our booth as well. And the dice towers have just been great for it. There's been such an incredible response. We did 5,000 trees this year, and we're hoping to do even more next year. I'm really hoping we can double that and get to 10,000 trees next year.
I love it, and you're right, because I passed by your booth a couple of times because I wanted to come back and do the tower, and each time you guys had a pretty long line. It wasn't until near the end that I was able to do it.
It's nonstop work for us at these shows. Yeah, there is no downtime.
When we started, Cheech and I, it was just the two of us, really. We would go to these shows alone, and poor Cheech, the little artist there, having to try and pick up her side of whatever heavy item that I've built from our combined minds there.
So it's all hardwood. So it's all very heavy.
A real trooper, and we made it happen. And now at this point, we need 2 or 3 people alone just to run the dice.
Dude, I just touching this stuff. When I was there, I was like, "How are you guys moving this stuff?"
Painfully.
Yeah.
How does the tower work? Do you take an elevator all the way to the top to drop the die?
So it has an elevator system built into it.
Oh, cool! Wow.
And there's a reel of it if you want to check that out there. But yeah, it has an elevator system that's drawn by a pulley, and then it just goes to the top. But yeah, if you back out of that and just jump in the reels, it's one of the very first reels posted there. Or you can look at that when you click it on.
There we go.
But yeah, you can see the bucket going to the top there, and it's just a simple pulley system. We have a bit of our own track that we have built out and developed quite a bit, because the track system is really what really makes it all happen. But yeah. Honestly, I love seeing the ones. It's so funny, and everybody's usually a pretty great sport about it.
So is someone manually working the rope, or does it?
Yes.
There's a
wheel.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole wheel happening.
Yeah, that way and we built it so that even kids are able to do it. We were really on our second iteration. Second iteration, we wanted to make sure it was accessible for basically anybody.
The 12-footer Dragon Spire is what it was called. It was just a pulley system, just a string pull.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, we stepped it up with the wheel.
Yeah. The wheel just makes it a little more reliable, to be honest with you. Made it a lot more reliable for folks and you can see it burning it up there. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that wheel. It made me feel like I was driving the minnow.
Very nice.
The minnow would be lost.
Exactly. That's all that kept playing through my head. Exactly.
But yeah, that was one of our lucky natural 20 winners there.
Oh yeah.
So this was at this year's New York Comic Con?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's our very first year displaying there.
4,600. That would be all the way on the past the show store.
Side, yeah. Mm-hmm. The new building. Or the new area.
I'm saying you're past the show store. Were you towards the
yeah. We were just a tiny bit past the show floor. We were right next to the Warhammer folks with their big Space Marine over there.
Oh, that's right.
Interesting. So it's weird that I did not see that tower, and I went all the way.
It's funny because no one ever does for some reason. No one ever looks up.
No.
We solved that a lot with this tower, but particularly the tower before, people just saw a column and had no idea what they were looking at.
Dude, there was a couple people that we brought over to you guys specifically, and we were telling them, it's over there. You just follow the tower. They go, what tower?
What tower? Yeah, we get that a lot.
Maybe because New Yorkers don't look up. That's the rule number one.
You're right.
Yeah.
I must have looked like the most country yokel. Wow, that's some big old buildings.
That's like, when I was a kid, you never look up. Never show you're a tourist. Don't look up. That's target on your back. But I do remember seeing the treasure chest, which is odd.
Yeah. I love that mimic.
We were lucky enough to sell him while we were up there, and Chomsky sold, and we delivered him the day after Sunday.
Nice.
On our way headed home. So it was really great getting to take him down into his new little dungeon, and it was really nice.
Yeah. He sold within a week of completion, which was crazy and exciting. And we barely got to know the guy before he went to his new home.
So I gotta ask, because I ask a lot of creators, how do you decide on a price? Because there's a lot of components, especially with what you guys are doing.
Sure.
How do you decide on that final price? Because I know part of it is what you need to make this thing. Sure. But you also have to put in the man hours of making this.
So what it really comes down to is materials plus hours spent. And on a large piece like that, we can be a little more forgiving back and forth, because at the end of the day, we can just work on the piece. And then when we're done, we know how many hours we've worked. It's a little harder when it's a custom job and you have to quote it right at the beginning. But, I come up with basically the amount of time and materials I've used to do the work that I do. And then Cheech does the same on her end. And then we add them up and we go sell it and get a price. And then, there's things we do to try and control that. In this case, we went with not a budget wood, but a much more budget wood than our very first Mimic, and aimed for a certain price from the get-go. But it all just has to do with materials plus time.
Yeah.
And this is not even like I know you guys have done a couple of big pieces here just from looking at them here. Then in the green room, you guys were talking about you did a whole gaming table.
Oh yeah, we've done multiple gaming tables. We put a gaming table, our very first one, we put into a traveling D&D bus, and there were some pretty interesting requirements for that one. They needed the ability for a wine fridge to be stored inside it, as well as a custom liquor cabinet. They asked for a laser engraved grid the entire way across the top. And then Cheech did 4 custom piece of art.
Yeah, they wanted 4 different monster drawings for the 4 different corners of the table. So
wow,
a bunch of custom art for that one.
And then our current table we offer is the Angler, and it features a big center stage TV so that you can throw up all your maps and stuff right on the TV and play right on top of the table. Or you can pull that entire TV cabinet up and out of the table and replace it with a fully flat piece if you just want a fully flat table to play on. Or you can play down inside or use the inside as storage. But yeah,
I gotta say, the whole industry has a renaissance now, and we're actually doing things like this, because before a lot of it was just secret and hiding, and now people want to have these beautiful big pieces.
That's right. That's right.
Because I know I've seen, like, in some shows, they have these beautiful, amazing tables, and you sit there going, "Who made these things?" Now we know somebody who makes them.
Got you covered. Yeah. We can make it all just about. There's certain capabilities we're still trying to get a hold of, but for the most part, we can figure a way around whatever you need.
Big on custom stuff too.
Yeah,
big
honestly,
fans of custom orders. That's kind of our dream.
Yeah, it's doing the big swanky custom stuff that really lets us flex a little bit and get out of our comfort zone and do some cool stuff.
So take me through the process. Okay, so let's go with a regular one. You guys are talking.
Okay.
You want to do something. How does that work?
Okay. So one of us will have the beginning of an idea, and we'll sit down, and a lot of times we'll sit down with a video game and just chat, and just use that as chat, just a way to chat and be able to carry on a longer conversation. And, you know, it really goes back and forth between both of us. And Cheech has gotten to the point where she knows woodworking well enough that she knows all the capabilities we have. And so she's able to attack this from the fine artist point of view and really bring a lot of specialty to it from that end, whereas I get to bring in the engineering and the woodworking as well. But we'll have an idea. We'll have that initial brainstorm session where we start to flesh it out and talk about different levels of it and how far it could go. And then we'll actually jump into drawing a thumbnail or drawing up something in CAD so that we can actually look at technical specs at it. And then it comes down to, you know, we'll hand off the artwork to Cheech and she'll jump in and do that end of it. And once that's done, it gets sent over to me. And then I actually construct the project.
So now the important part, because, you know, I know there's people out there going, wait, they make custom stuff.
Absolutely.
How does that work?
Shoot us an email.
Yeah.
Just email us.
Reach out. Ask us a question.
DM us. Yeah. Admittedly, our custom work is getting pretty popular right now. We've had some really, really intense success immediately following New York Comic Con. We tripled our Instagram followership. And yeah, I mean, we've got almost a six month lead at this point as far as our custom work, because people are starting to see exactly what we can do here and understanding how cool it is. So it's been really incredible.
I got to say, New York Comic Con was a great place for you guys to show it off. Go ahead, Mark.
I said, then the question is, what are you doing here? Get to work.
That is true.
Who says
there's been a lot of work done today?
Who says the laser isn't running back there? I don't know what you're talking about.
We have to line up the next 6 months and the next 6 months.
Yeah. But no, it's been incredible. And, you know, it's just been so great having a fine artist just partner up right at the beginning, because there's no way I can do any of this from the carpentry side without having someone to bounce all of this off of and be able to bring such an intensely specific set of skills as a partner right up front and be able to have those two skills from the very beginning. It just makes for an incredible project.
So how did you two meet?
Good question. Yeah.
We met online. Cheech, if you want to jump on that.
Yeah, so I used to stream on Twitch. I do artwork and occasionally video games, and James actually was one of my first members of my little community that I had. He hopped in, liked what I was doing. We became friends, started talking about collaborating artistically, and then he decided he was gonna quit engineering and be an artist with me. So
never looked back. It's been a wild ride, and it's gonna be 3 years basically in a week. So it's been really exciting.
Sometimes you got to jump out of your comfort zone.
It was a big jump, but it's going well. Thank you.
Yeah, and this year especially, we saw some really explosive growth last year too, but this year we've actually been able to turn our real profit on the business, and it's been really incredible actually getting to that point, because no matter what you think starting a business, it's not just immediate. There's a lot to do and a lot of work to get done before you can actually get to that point. It's been incredible seeing it turn around like this.
Oh, we definitely know that.
Yeah.
So where are you going with this? What's your future? Since we're talking about this, you know, where do you see yourselves?
Sure. So next year we have a full list of cons already planned out. Your first ability to be able to see us will be at C2E2, and then we'll also be doing Dragon Con. We're waiting, fingers crossed, to get into Gen Con. We're also going to be doing New York again, and then potentially a couple others. But other than that, we're just going to keep building these big passion projects of ours and running with it that way.
I think the dream for us would be to do the big crazy custom work almost exclusively to get these one-off projects where each one is its own sculptural work of art.
Yeah.
And to just be able to keep doing that and creating cool big things and bringing dreams to life, and that would be ideal.
Yeah. And, we've started to get where we're getting interest in that from both wholesale or just companies and private folks. So it's really great on both sides because you get to do so much difference with it.
Are there pieces that you create constantly, or is it most of the time always something new?
So there is a machine to feed. There is a machine to feed, and I am constantly making coasters because the prizes for the tower, that's just a constant. You're constantly building them. So we make a ton of dice boxes. We make a ton of coasters. We make a ton of magnets. We have a few different other small items that are consistently running as well, such as our mini mimic, which is one of our smaller chests. We're introducing a box here at the very beginning of December that Cheech will be able to show to you called Foldy, the Dice Guardian. And this is a smaller version of Dicey.
Wow.
And it's going to hold 6 sets and a really cool little package that way. And gives you
closure on the lids.
And gives you an awesome way to actually display your dice as well. There's so few ways to actually display everyone's incredible dice, and we wanted to come out with a really cool way to do it.
That is really true, because usually you got them all in a bag or all in a box or all in.
Now you can see, all the little teeth here coming down, little teeth feet. So each foldy will come with assorted googly eyes that you can put your own eyes on your little mimic dice defender.
Love it.
That is so cool.
Love it. Oh my God. I got to say, the big one was fantastic. You guys saw a little bit of it when the video was playing. That one, how many does that one hold again?
He holds 43 sets or 301 total.
Wow.
Yeah. And we have plans for something that'll hold 1,000. I'll mention that, I guess.
1,000?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, everybody, I thought that would be enough, but everybody's like, I have more dice than that. I have more dice than that. Whatever.
About right.
I'll put my foot in your mouth. We'll see who has the last laugh here about who can fit dice in a box.
I gotta say, man. Yeah, I've met enough DMs and players, and there definitely are dice goblins.
We are very quickly becoming the one-stop shop for dice goblins to actually be able to store their dice well. So it's been a fun journey to get here.
Yeah, I thought that big one was big enough, and then I was sitting there like, oh, my friend still has more dice than that.
Yeah. Every once in a while, someone will see the one that holds 301 and say, I need about 5 of those.
We're here to accommodate.
We're here for it.
That is just amazing. I need like 5 of those.
God.
Give me a ton of those. And folks, just so I can show it off. Look at this.
Yeah.
Dicey.
That guy just made it over to Australia to his new owner.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that.
We boxed him up real good for his journey.
So this mimic in particular was mostly James, but for an example of our collaboration, he asked me for the face details for the mimic. I designed out the face for him, sent those files over, and then he was able to construct the face that I had designed.
Yeah.
So Cheech, what is your thoughts of when you see something that you create in 3D?
Oh, it's great. It's a beautiful. I feel very, very lucky to have this partnership with a woodworker where I can just design something and be like, here, make this. It's amazing. It's great. It's really interesting to look at like the thumbnail sketches, the initial drawings that I do of our pieces, and then compare that to the final piece, and it's like, yeah, that's the same thing. That's a drawing of that box.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Wow.
So James, the same question goes to you. Like when you see something coming in, like, all right, I can make this. Like, oh, this is going to be a challenge to make.
Whenever I get a sketch from Cheech, I'm usually flipping out, going, "This is gonna look so freaking cool. This is gonna look so freaking cool." And I'm usually just like kind of gushing over whatever Cheech has drawn, and then just feeling so lucky that I'm gonna get to actually bring that to life. It's one of those things where like I'm a great carpenter. I can't draw though. I can't draw. And so, it's a really incredible feeling. And for me, functional art is just the coup de grace of any kind of art. But that's just for me. But, getting to actually make a functional mimic, because there's a lot of mimics out there, and there are some other functional ones. But getting to make a functional mimic at the level we do it is just a joy. There's so much creative freedom behind it, baked into the monster. And having someone that can send you that stuff just makes it incredible.
That's a good partnership.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We make a pretty good team, yeah.
It's very good.
So I know you guys play as well, right?
Yeah. Yep. I am Cheech's Dungeon Master, along with a few other folks. We have an online game that's been going for 3 years now. We're on our second campaign here, and we've been having a lot of fun with it. Maybe 4, I don't know.
4 years.
Been a minute.
Second campaign, but
we started when I was still an engineer, and our very first session, I was literally inside of my like company government car or whatever, and like rolling dice on the dash, sitting at a project site while construction's going on. It was on my lunch break. It's fine.
There must have been a moment though, somebody passing by. What the hell is he doing?
What is this guy? Why has he got so many books?
Oh man. So being that, and I know we're constantly thinking of things that we would love to have as players or as a dungeon master. Has anything come from that? Is there like a project where you're like, we must do this?
The mimics.
I'd say the mimics, yeah.
For me, Dicey is really special. There's just so much going on there. But we've done a couple really cool picture frames as well that were really fun and functional as well, and those have been really neat. But for the most part, I think the mimics.
Yeah. It's not particularly D&D related, but James, you mentioned the picture frame thing. Our very first collaborative deal was me requesting James to work with me to design a picture frame that looked like a door, because I had a painting I had done of a doorknob that I wanted to have on that door. And so he made me this, like, I helped design what the frame was going to look like, and then he built it for me and made it actually functional where it like opens and stuff. It's pretty cool.
But yeah,
at this point, I was going to say, that being said, that means that you guys are open to other things, which is
oh, absolutely, yeah.
D&D is our main shtick, but we'll do anything that we find interesting enough, right? I made Cheech a Polaroid box that has a built-in dark room, so that as soon as your Polaroid, you just throw it in the box and forget about it. You don't got to worry about it. You don't got to worry about trying to throw it into some little box somewhere and keep track of it. It just goes in the same box that the camera sits in. And
it's like a secret, not secret, but a little compartment underneath with a little slot in it. You just stick them in and they're safe in there.
Making intensely custom boxes is just really great.
I can imagine it, because I can see people going, I need a box with a secret compartment.
All kinds of stuff. You'd be surprised. You never know what people are going to ask for. We had one person earlier this year, and they were playing a D&D campaign that was going to be streamed, and one of their very specific requirements was it needs 3 sets of dice worth of storage, as well as a separate container for their mini that they wanted to keep hidden until they were ready to reveal it.
Whoa.
So it was like a dual lid box that they could reveal their dice or their mini depending on how they wanted to. You just never know what will come through the door.
That makes sense because sometimes what messes up for DM is them seeing something they shouldn't have seen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you went to C2E2 New York Comic Con. What was the very first convention you went to?
C2E2. Yep.
C2E2, and that was
Which
this
is-
year's C2E2?
No, 3 years ago in 2021. Isn't that right?
Yeah. So C2E2 with COVID and everything, the schedule got kind of weird, and then they had two C2E2s, like one in the winter and then one in the spring. So that winter, no, the winter C2E2 was not our first one. It was the spring that followed, right?
No, it was in winter because it was only like 6 months apart.
Right.
It was in November, and then the next one was in April. And so we did C2E2, and then we did C2E2 again, and then we started into a real schedule. Yeah.
So,
and we learned a lot of lessons at our first C2E2. We found out exactly how unprepared we were, and then the next year we crushed it because we knew what we needed to do.
Mm-hmm. It was a good learning experience.
The deciding factor to do a convention? Like at what point, like, all right, we're ready to do C2E2. Are you guys near Chicago? Is that something that you were close by?
So C2E2 is my home show. I am out of Chicago. And I had been, as an artist, considering like, maybe I should get a table at Artist Alley, like try selling my work in the con scene sometime. And when James and I started talking about working together potentially, it was like, what if we tried to do a con together? And the first time, our first attempt was applying for an Artist Alley table, and we got rejected. And then I think it was the next year we went ahead and got a booth instead. And
we had to trick our way in. It's so hard to get your foot in the door, but we finagled it somehow.
I know the idea is to get into Artist Alley, but at the same time, they have certain things they don't want in Artist Alley.
Yeah.
Well, so it was nothing like this when we first started talking about it.
No. we started so much smaller. We started with really just dice boxes and a custom kind of picture frame we were making at the time. And then we had some other stuff. We had some coasters and some bookmarks, but for the most part, it was dice boxes and picture frames. And yeah, we got trounced our very first show. I think we made like $300. And when the booth costs close to $2,000, that's not doing great. But we learned our lessons. We learned our lessons. We didn't have a big mimic. We didn't have a dice tower. And we learned that if we really wanted to succeed in the convention space, we needed something that would bring people to our booth. And on top of that, the more I thought about it personally, I went, if we had an activity, we would crush. Because people are starved for an activity on the show floor. And so the dice tower is such an incredible activity.
It is.
Everybody wants to do it. And everybody wants to watch it. And everybody wants to go get their friends to watch it. And it creates so much drama watching the dice go up. And so, yeah, we came up with the idea for the 12-foot tower, busted out that project, brought what we thought was an incredible amount of dice. We brought 300 dice to the very first show that we were going to show it at C2E2 2023. And we showed up with it. And the very first day we sold completely out of dice. And we're like, oh, this is far more popular than we even guessed it would be. And we're like trying to get dice shipped in by the next day. And so we one day shipped some dice and were able to go for the rest of the weekend. But huge wake up call. And then we kind of perfected the dice tower. And then at the same time, we had our big first mimic, which was Mimsy. And Mimsy was huge and a real passion piece. And that was to bring people in. That was to bring people in and say, we can go hard. This is us. This is how we can really do. And it was a way to show off as well as just being an incredible artistic expression for the both of us. I remember getting the very first files from Cheech of the teeth for Mimsy and just gushing. It was incredible.
Mimsy had a lot of teeth. Mimsy had a lot more teeth than Chomsky.
Yeah, Mimsy had like 40 something. It was crazy.
Question is the process really that simple? She draws it and you make it, or is there a lot more back and forth involved?
There's a lot more
back
and forth.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of math, particularly when you're trying to size around very specific things, dice, for example. There's a lot of testing to be done and going back and forth and seeing if things work. And then, when you're doing more of stuff in the sculptural artwork format, which we're kind of in, particularly with the mimics, there was a lot of testing and failing and testing and failing and testing and failing and finally getting it right. And once again, going back and forth between the two of us to go, okay, but like, how do we actually want to make this work right? So it looks a lot easier maybe than it is.
A lot of sketches back and forth of like, okay, how do we actually physically make this work? And then like I'll send thumbnail sketches to James. He'll send like blueprint sort of shapes to me to work from, and then I can do a final design with those based on those to fit into what he needs to cut.
But then there's also the fun stuff of like, the other day my vacuum exploded for one of my woodworking tools and went, okay, well, to make this art, I've got to fix this. So spending 2 days working on that. So it really depends on the project. Some of them much easier than others. Some of them just pull off crazy easy. Our very first Dice Tower Dragonspire was a 3-day project. Incredibly quick to knock out. But yeah.
That was a 12-footer, by the way.
Yeah.
Dragonspire.
It sounds like you guys are having fun. I can feel the passion. I gotta say you're right, because as soon as you're walking through the convention, you'll either see the tower or you'll see the mimic.
When our very first show, I remember walking in, and I remember we weren't doing well. We weren't getting anybody over. And by Saturday evening, I'm going, it's time to figure out what works in a convention. And I took that last 6 months to try and jump into every show I could, just to walk around and study booth behavior and study what people liked, and then also getting on social media and seeing what people were trending towards there. And I remember particularly in that one, because we all caught COVID at that very first one, and I got stuck in Chicago for a month just about before I could go home.
Wow.
And I just remember seeing this big Lego Pikachu all over everything.
Oh, yeah.
And that big Lego Pikachu is honestly what got me thinking about, what if we did a really big mini? So Pikachu, you did it for us. Appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, I think that was when we started talking about like, okay, we need something big to attract attention. And I think we had talked at least some before that about building a mimic, because it's like, we can just do that.
It's already wood, right?
We can just build a life-size mimic, so we should probably do that.
Yeah.
And everybody loves a good mimic.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Everybody's got a story about one, right? Everybody's got a crazy mimic story, so it works in really well. And and then the Freerin show came out, and it's gone even better because everybody knows that whole lore, and it's been great. I probably open up our big mimic for 10 to 15 to 20 Freirins a day at a busy show, so that they can jump in there and take a picture.
I gotta say, I was there when you were opening it for that's how I got the recording. And it was interesting for you to tell me, oh yeah, we've done this like so many times.
Oh yeah.
You see them walk over and you just go ahead and open it, basically.
Yeah, we know.
There's always, I love it because they'll always come over and be like, could we pray, please? It's like, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. So people want to get in touch with you. They want to send you something. They want to. I know the Etsy's there. What's the best way to talk to you guys?
You can reach out at the ArtCarp on Instagram is a really good way, or there's a contact button on our website, artcarp.net. You can check us out there. Either one of those are great. Yep. There's also our Etsy, and if you shoot us a contact there, I'll get it as well.
Yeah, that's what we were showing off before was their Instagram, because they have a lot of beautiful videos there.
Instagram's the best way to keep on top of what we're doing and to reach us, really.
And see all the beautiful things.
Absolutely.
And see all the beautiful things.
You will certainly have the first look if you're on Insta right now.
I gotta say, Instagram has turned into something else, because it started off as a place for pictures and art, and then it's turned into this whole other being after that.
Yeah, it's its own whole beast. I'm trying to figure it out, but I also have a lot to do in the shop.
I've yet to figure it out.
I just figured out how to edit on Instagram like maybe a couple of months ago. I always thought it was like Twitter when there was no way to edit because there's no edit button, but no, it's 3 little dots that you.
I think with Instagram, what bugged me out the most is, when we go to the conventions, we do those little interviews like we do with you guys, and since it's going up automatically on Instagram depending on my connection, it's almost like people are feeding off of it right away. That's what does those are our best videos. They do well, which is funny because you figure Instagram and videos, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
It's the way of the world these days.
Yeah, I don't get it. I just put it up.
I hear you.
And I like showing off the convention, and I feel like when we do that, it kind of helps out whoever we're showing off, the convention itself,
for sure,
and us, because now you got all this stuff happening, and people see it and they go, "Ooh, I can get over there."
Absolutely.
It always makes the videos always, because sometimes like you go to way more than I do. It always makes me feel like I'm there when I'm watching those videos. Yeah. So I think that does that for people. Like it gives them an in, so that they feel like they're with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's also all like automatic because it's happening and it's happening now, and you're seeing the video and you're like, oh, this is happening right now.
Yeah.
Even though some people watch it later, but at the same time, I don't know. I haven't figured out TikTok. I haven't figured out Instagram. I've yet to figure out Facebook. So.
I still don't understand TikTok.
We posted like our second video on TikTok, and that video went to 6 million views.
Wow.
And I remember just waking up, and I hadn't cut off any notifications at that point because we were getting so few. And I just remember waking up and feeling my phone, and it was burning so hot, as there was like over 200 Instagram or TikTok notifications per second. It was just the most insane thing to wake up to.
What's funny is that there's a huge D&D presence on TikTok, and you wouldn't think so. But yeah,
it's massive. It's massive.
Yeah.
D&D is in such a golden age right now, and it's
is
been truly incredible to watch it happen.
To be part of it,
exactly.
Really.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I was a kid, it was taboo, forbidden. I got my butt kicked enough times.
Oh sure. There's plenty of satanic panic still down this way.
I'm not even talking about that, but yeah, that just makes it worse.
Yeah, you're talking more like nerd realm, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I got it from the religious side too. That was the fun part of being a nerd in the 80s and 90s. It was the whole you got it from different sides.
Well, I remember everything was satanic. We were like, oh, the Smurfs are satanic. Gargamel used the evil, evil star.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
Pokemon satanic, the Smurfs were satanic.
Oh my gosh. I remember when Pokemon got outlawed in our schools, and then they locked up all the Harry Potter books. It was crazy. It was crazy.
They just want any fun.
Yeah. It's tough being a nerd.
Yeah, but those kids are gonna grow up and take over the world, so we're gonna win anyway. We're gonna have her say anyway. So.
Oh man. So Mark, I know you've been busy. Dude, I don't even know when the last time I saw you not be busy. I gotta say, so tell the people what you do. Tell them what you've been
very
up to.
True. I am so busy. I still haven't uploaded the photos from New York Comic Con yet. So
Nope.
I'm gonna get around to that probably over the Thanksgiving weekend because I'll have extra time.
True.
It took me like 3-4 months to upload the pictures from like Garden City. It took forever. It's like, yeah, it happens.
Oh man. So Mark, go ahead. Tell the people what you do.
The issue is that I take so many pictures.
You do.
Oh well. Let me finish complaining about my my nonsense because I take so many pictures. Then I have to go through the pictures, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't take so many pictures. But then there's so many things to take pictures of.
Yeah.
And then I get that little rotation of I missed out. Like I just was looking through the pictures while you guys were talking, and I didn't have a picture of the mimic, but I remember seeing it. And I said I should have took a picture of it. I thought I took a picture of it, but I didn't. And I have over like 700 pictures already that I have to go through. So I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Maybe I saw it on like a Sunday. I'm like, yeah, I'm not taking any more pictures.
I don't have as many, but it's the same. I have to go through them and edit and say, okay, what do I? it's almost like editing a movie. It's like, okay, what feeds the plot and what doesn't? You know, like what's important, what's not. Yeah, but not 700. That's way too many. Yikes.
Yeah, because you know what it is. We do all this stuff, and we have to take as much pictures as we can because you don't want to be at that moment going, "Freak! I should have taken more pictures."
We've been there.
Yes, constantly. There's never any time for us even to do like real photo shoots. So, but we try.
I did a quick one with Chomsky right outside the shop right before we left for New York. So those pictures that you see of Chomsky were ones that I had to hurry up and stage and take before we left. Good thing I did because he's gone.
Well, being behind the table is a completely different world when you're doing a convention than being on the other side.
Incredibly.
What was the biggest difference you guys noticed between Chicago and New York?
Good question.
You know, of all the shows we've done, I would say they're probably the most similar. But, you know, I would say that New York definitely had a larger audience. I don't know. What do you think, Cheech?
It was a larger audience, but I feel like for the most part, not quieter, but less engaging, which is
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just noticed that, and maybe it's just in New York, you guys are more keep to yourself than in the Midwest, but
yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Never look up, right?
Never look up. That's right. Rule number 1.
I'll have to remember that next year. I must look like a real yokel.
That's how they catch you. Like, oh, there's a tourist right there. That's how you know. They always look up.
There
was one time I was in a city, and I didn't even realize I was standing in front of the Empire State Building. Because there used to be a comic book store across the street from Empire State Building. So I knew what a comic book store was. I used to go there every once in a while. And then somebody told me, hey, you know, it's right next to the Empire State Building. I was like, really? Where? And I was like, oh, yeah, it's right there. Literally across the street. No idea.
Admittedly, when you're that close to those big skyscrapers, it's a little hard to see them. Because
I walked by the Freedom Tower before I noticed that was the Freedom Tower. It's a reflection of the Twin Towers. Sometimes you walk right past it. It's like, oh, wow, I've been through here so many times. Oh, they're just walking by randomly, and I looked at the sign, at the letters, Freedom Tower. Like, oh.
That's New York, folks. That is New York. As you can see here, Mark is doing his live show from It Came From the Radio with our pal Shadow Rabbit.
Yes, we do a live show at the East Meadow Public Library once a month on the second Wednesday of every month. That's at 7 p.m. The next one is going to be on December the 11th. It is our 87th live show. And we're going to have a card maker, Joseph Mansiuri.
Mhm.
And what's interesting about this particular show, out of all the ones we've done before, is that he is using AI for part of his card game art. And I think it's going to be an interesting discussion because, of the flack that AI gets. And I want to give an opportunity to, really defend his work because a lot of people really hate AI. And I know him for a long time. And he didn't seem like the person who would use AI, but he is using AI. So now I'm like, I warned him ahead of time. It's like, hey, if you're going to come on to the show, I'm going to ask you the tough questions. And he's ready. So I think it's going to be an interesting discussion on AI in general and how that does his card game. Then we do the regular show, which I have every week, which is on Sunday on WGBB, Long Island's oldest radio station. That's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do the news segment for our show every week, except for when we have a live show. And then we just have a subject of the week where we have a guest and we talk about different things. And then that gets sent to the Philippines. And then it gets added to all the other segments that we've done, all the other pre-recorded segments. And then it gets uploaded to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think like 5 online radio stations and 1 other additional terrestrial radio station, and then all the 45 different podcast places that we're on right now. Wow. Also, I've been working on my comic book. So we got the first one done, which is yay. Finally done after 30 years. We have the 30 years. It took me 30 years to make this book. I wrote the story 30 years ago. The artwork was done 20 years ago, and it takes over time. And what finally managed to happen throughout the years of ups and downs, I actually got my book published last year. And what's interesting is that I decided to do the radio show to help get my book published. And we just, we're on our 22nd year of the radio show. So the plan worked. It just took a long time to get there.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Last year, we actually performed it as a radio play. And Mr. Written Ralph was a part of the cast. And we performed it at New York Comic Con.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
So we got Trauma Trauma the Toxic Avenger. They presented us, and they actually had some teasers of movies that they had, and then we performed it with music, and we had the pages up on the screen, we had sound effects, and then we also performed it 2 times at the East Meadow Public Library. And the first time it was like more of a test run to see if it could be done, and it was done. And then the second time we did it, it was New York Comic Con, and then the third time we did it again at the MCon, which is a East Meadow Public Library convention. They have it every year. And what was really cool is that this last time we did it, we had a live musical accompaniment. So we had a pianist he scored the entire first issue. So we had live music with the sound effects, with the graphics on the screen. And
it was really cool seeing it live.
Yeah, it was really, really, really nice. And we were trying to get to do issue 2 at this year's New York Comic Con, but so we actually got a sponsor, Crackle Redbox, to be our sponsor. Yeah, cool, but they went bankrupt between the time we submitted the panel and when they announced the panels. So. So nobody knew they were going to go bankrupt. Nobody. I was, in contact with the people, and it's like, oh, Redbox is bigger than Troma, so this would be even better. And then, like, night and day. One day everything was fine. Next day, nobody was answering the phone. Everybody was just fired. It was gone. So that's why we didn't get a chance to do it at this year's New York Comic Con.
I was wondering what had happened. Okay.
that was the one company I had to be the one that goes bankrupt. but we're going to do. We're planning on doing issue 2 for the MCon of the 2025, and hopefully we'll be able to get back in for New York
Cool.
Comic Con. Yeah, so I've been doing all that. Is what's been keeping me, and then covering conventions, and it's rough doing all this stuff at one time.
Yeah.
And then issue 2, we're slowly putting it together. I did a pre-launch. The pre-launch did not go anywhere near as I was hoping. It was very sad, but we're gonna relaunch it as soon as we get the new cover, because we didn't have a cover. I just had the work in progress cover, which I think might have been what was the reasoning behind it. The pages are all finally inked. Peter Palmiotti, who's Jimmy's brother, sent me the final page of issue 2 2 weeks ago. I sent them all to the letterer last week, and so I was just waiting for the letterer, and then I'm gonna reach out to the cover artist to get a finished cover, and then we can relaunch issue number 2 on crowdfunder. I mean, it's still there, and you can get it, but it's in pre-sale, so you gotta wait for that. I prefer to be like, okay, the book's ready, and now we can really push forward.
Exactly.
One of the biggest problems is that because it was a 110-page story that I originally wrote 30 years ago, the inker had all the 110 pages. And instead of doing it in order, he's just pulling pages randomly.
Wow.
So we had, certain pages of this issue done, certain pages of that issue. And I'm like, well, we need to get all of one issue done before we can move on to the next one. And so that's also was one of the issues of getting it done. But like I said, issue 2 finally got all the inks done. I'm very happy with that. Letters are on the way. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we can get it done before end of year, but not sure.
Yeah, you've been busy. And this weekend we will be at Big Apple Big Apple Con. There you go. Before I say the other aspect of it, even though I think they stopped suing people.
I think it was more in the lines that there's like some weird line that you can't be called Comic-Con on the East Coast, but you can use the Comic-Con on the West Coast. And for some reason, they managed to sneak their way in to get to use that term, Comic-Con.
Because I know they went after New York Comic-Con, and some lawsuit happened, and they lost fight against New York Comic-Con. So
yeah. But it's like an unspoken rule now, because when they first started out, New York Comic Con was they were the underdog.
Yeah,
it's weird to think that what they were and what they are. We've had the former head, Lance Fensterman, on the show, and we had a professional relationship. And we used to talk every time you went down there and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he was always telling me about all the problems and issues with New York and New York Comic Con, because New York, the city, didn't feel that there was money in comics, and they were not being fair or friendly with them, I should say, with hotel rates, with time on the Javits, like available scheduling. And one year, I distinctly remember, they had it during Passover, which was a big controversy. That how can you have a convention during Passover? And he said this was all they gave us. It was either this or not have a convention that year. So, but now they have the run of the land, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now it's New York Comic Con. And it's taken a while to get there, and it's funny because I always thought that they were the ones that started off at the church, but it's Big Apple that started off at the church. Because I thought that was the transition. They went from the church to the big thing. But I guess if you're thinking about it, actually that did happen, but it's a whole other convention.
A whole other coincidence. And I'm sure there would be no New York Comic Con and no Big Apple Con if, once again, the fire marshal didn't close down for whatever reason you want to say.
Exactly. Things happen for a reason, folks. Oh man, let's see. I think I got a little bit of Big Apple up here somewhere. There it goes. All right, folks. This weekend, Big Apple Comic Con. You guys are gonna want to check this out. It's in the New Yorker Hotel. It's a lot of fun. It's an actual comic book convention. I know it sounds weird saying that, but it is. It's an actual comic book convention. Take that for what it is. because I know people are always looking for actual comic book conventions. Well, this is one of them. They do have their they do have other things there. There's media and other things, but I feel like the biggest part of this con is actually New York. It is the comics.
It's crazy. I feel like Comic-Con has become more of just a general term for everything. Just everything is in this show. It's honestly what we focus on because we find a very large D&D audience inside of Comic-Cons.
Well, I've seen that grow over the years because as time has progressed, you can see how it's blossomed into this whole thing. Because there was always D&D in the New York Comic Con, but then as time has passed, it became more and more and more, and there was more dice tables and more dice tables and more dice tables. As you know, dice sell really well.
The dice go crazy. We don't even really sell dice, and it's wild to just watch how much business goes on with the dice booths.
Yeah, it's wild at conventions how you see like gaming areas have grown and grow. Like more of them have like tables and dice and games. Yeah, it's wild.
It's nuts. And then on top of that, now there's the whole live play aspect. There's always some kind of D&D show going on. You just never know.
Yeah, and most shows have set it up so that you can actually play at the convention itself, which is a good thing. Depending on which game you
Ralph,
want to play.
I sent you the issue 1 crowdfunder, so you can play the video. Because I added that, which I was very impressed with myself because I'm not tech friendly at all. So I was very proud that I managed to get that video on there.
All right, here we go. Boom. Let's go to the videotape,
so that
folks.
Is issue 1.
Enjoy the amazing Troma Presents comic premiere of Mr. Mark Torres comic book called Designated. It's going to be an amazing event in 2023.
So that was Lloyd Kaufman of Troma. Really appreciate him doing that. Just in his classic style, just reading my name off of paper. It's awesome.
It's cute.
That's why I love the video when we were doing the radio play because it's like put name here.
So when they sent us the video of what they were gonna do at the presentation, it was like a super old video of him introducing some generic thing, and whenever the name came up, they just blurted it out and they said something else that was there. So like they can reuse that same video over and over again. And I gotta tell you, I was very concerned that if that joke didn't go over, we're gonna be in serious trouble at that panel. But they loved it, and I was like, wow, it's really cool. Because I was like, well, thank you to New York Comic Con, and I'm proud to present Mark Torres Designated. It was like so crazy.
It's funny because that's an old Trauma joke. I've seen him do it for a lot of his own stuff. Oh my God, he's funny.
Yes.
Oh man, folks, I put the link for Mark Torres's book there in the comment section. Let me put the Etsy for ArtCarp because I know you folks are out there going, I want to get something from them. And of course, I know somebody's gonna be like, well, Ralph, I don't want to go look for the links. I'm lazy. So there you go. All the links are in the comment section. There's no excuses now.
So the book is about two alien races fighting over a newly discovered power source. War finds its way to the planet Earth, and as a result, some humans gain abilities. What I found most interesting about the Mimic and your guys' booth in particular is that how cool it was that Ralph showed those videos, and I'm more impressed by what I walked by and I saw it, and I only saw a tiny little bit, and there was so much more that I missed out on. So I'm like, wow, I missed out. So you
a lot of hidden functionality in our stuff. You just never know what we're gonna do next.
Yeah, and that's the video I've been working on, which is the one where I actually got to put the dice up, do my little minnow thing.
Sure.
I sent you that video, right? It's not just hit it. I sent you that video. It's not just on my phone still.
Oh no, you sent it to me. That's how I was able.
Good.
That's how I was able to work on it.
I just had a very worrying moment there where I was like, I don't remember sending this video.
Yeah, you sent it to me. You sent it to me through Facebook. Yeah, but Facebook Messenger.
No. It should have been WeTransferred. I WeTransferred all of the Comic Con stuff if I did.
Yeah, but I took it off the the Facebook Messenger. Sometimes
Press F to quality.
Sometimes it's just easier. Oh man! All right, folks. Mark Torres came from the radio. The book designated. Mark, were you a sponsor for the trade show this weekend?
Oh, the LITGC,
Yeah.
LITGC. Yes. So,
Yeah.
yes, we get to be a sponsor on that, and they run a commercial on our radio show. So, so we had like a little deal going on with that.
I saw your name when we were there. I was like, "Oh, designated." I'm like, "Wait, that's Mark. That's Mark's book."
Yeah, that is me. Yeah. Try to get the word out as best as I can. Like I said, it's 30 years long time. So now that we're here. I don't want to be another 30 years before I get 2, 3, 4, and 5 out.
Well, the show was really popular. It did really well. I don't think there's many trade card shows that are actually trade card shows. Again, but that's all you saw there was you were able to buy all the trade cards you wanted from all the games you wanted.
So it's a non-sports trading cards. It's a Long Island trading card game show, and they've been around for a little while, but they've expanded exponentially.
Yeah.
And now they announced that next year they're going to be at the Nassau Coliseum, which I was like, wow, they're really exploding. And it's crazy how they found that niche and it just blew up. I'm surprised there aren't more out there.
There were so many people. That place was packed. It was hard to get through the place, man. And we were there hanging out with the guys from Hit Point Game because they were showing off their game there. You could actually play it there, and they were actually selling their game for the first time at that convention. So it was a lot of fun. I have to say, I'm thinking I'm going to have them on the show next week, Wednesday, so they can talk more about what's going on. It's so funny because I asked them on the show before they announced that they had a new show in December. Yeah, because I just saw that come up. I was like, oh, on December something, we're gonna try to do this monthly type of show, and I'm like, this is interesting. That tells you how they're growing.
Yeah, it's crazy. But Rebecca's a great person, and she runs a great show, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. Like, if you want to be a vendor, you want to be an attendee, it's good for everybody.
Yeah, she's cool people. It was a lot of fun. She took care of us, and that show was run really smoothly. I can't say that about a lot of conventions.
It can certainly be a mess.
And no fault of the conventions. It's just the conventions are crazy, folks.
It's the nature of the beast.
Exactly.
People always like, one place.
Yeah, people always like, oh, Ralph, you should run a convention. I'm like, no. No. You should have a bitten apple. No. It's crazy, man. I see how stressed out these showrunners are. Oh my god.
It's a lot. There's a lot of problems to have in one weekend.
So, Cheech, as a Chicago native, right?
I'm from Michigan originally, but sure. Okay. I've been here for over a decade now. Yeah.
So when I was there, my first time was actually in 2020 as it was C2E2. It was the last convention, the week before everything shut down.
I was at that one as well. Not as a vendor, but I attended that one.
So we probably crossed paths because I was taking a lot of pictures, and I had my friend who was running a table there in Artist Alley. And
nice.
it was a crazy convention. I was like, this is such a difference between New York and Chicago. But the one thing I learned when I was there is that they said that the deep dish pizza is for tourists, not really what they normally have. So I want to know, is that accurate?
I second that for sure. I'm not a deep dish girl, personally. I prefer a tavern style thin crust.
So then when you went to New York and you had New York pizza, what's your decision?
I don't think we got
Did you have New York
pizza? Did we have pizza?
I don't think we did.
How did you not?
Okay, we stayed.
Look, I was a little more concerned about getting some good pastrami. Okay?
We will make a point to
I
get
want pastrami.
pizza and breakfast sandwiches next year.
Yeah.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah.
Bacon, egg, and cheese. I gotta say, at least you did the pastrami, because you know, pastrami in New York. Oh,
You gotta get a bagel from a cart. That's what you got.
oh, that's true.
Yeah,
You
I
guys have.
went to Chicago like only one time for Wizard World in 1999, a long time ago. Yeah, but while I was there, I don't know if it's like that all the time, but it was like the weather was like it would be just nice, and then this crazy wind and rain would come out of nowhere, and then it would be nice again. And the whole week,
That'll happen.
yeah, we were there a weekend. Yeah, the whole weekend was like it. It would just be like nice, peaceful. Birds are out. Next thing you know, rain does it, and then it stops. Pleasant again.
On a lake, so you know, a particularly large lake. Lake Michigan. I don't know if you guys are Great Lake savvy or not, but Great Lakes are
right
pretty
there.
huge. And yeah, Chicago's right on Lake Michigan.
I mean, I'm more of a Huron fan, if I do say so myself.
Oh man.
I very embarrassingly had to ask someone what a bodega was when we got to New York. Everybody's like, you gotta go to a bodega. I was like, what the heck is a bodega, guy?
You see that? That's rule number 2. Don't ask what something is in New York. Don't look up. And you're like, yep, okay, sure.
Look, I don't know looking like a tourist. I know what I am. I'm okay with it. You can judge me.
Remember they said it on Seinfeld? We're going to the bodega.
It bugs me out when I go to other states, and there's no corner store. There's no bodega. But you gotta walk like 10 miles that way to go to the store. No.
I'm from a town so small that New York City has more buses than we have people.
Wow.
We got our very first McDonald's in my town when I was 16 years old, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a fun experience getting to go up and see the big city for sure.
So it must have been a culture shock going to C2E2 and then New York, like that. A little bit, but also I've traveled a good bit. So I've seen big cities. New York is definitely its own beast, and trying to drive around a truck full of mimics is its own struggle. Bringing your pickup truck with its Georgia license plate on the back through downtown New York is definitely interesting, but I think we managed pretty well. Did you get to drive into the Javits with your truck or no?
We did. Yep.
So you had that long wait in the back, wasn't that fun?
Oh yeah. Hey, I mean, it's better
Not
than
complaining.
some places. There's some places where you just kind of have to figure it out and be out on the street, and it's nice to be able to just be somewhere where you can park and kick back and
know you're in the right spot and that they will come get you. That you're not waiting around for nothing.
If you want to be a vendor, you need to accept right here and now that you're gonna wait. You're just gonna wait. And if you can't accept that, you're gonna drive yourself crazy.
Yeah. We've done both sides of the coin. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that wait is like crazy. You know. Oh.
Charge your phone.
All right, folks, let's see. What do we got back here? Oh, there we go. We suck at comics. And we do. We suck at comics. And I'm lazy, so if you ever wanted to see a published work from Written Writ Ralph, this is your chance, because they've actually taken one of my pieces and put it into this anthology, and you guys can go check it out. You know, so if you're waiting for me to publish, it might take a while. But if you want to see a work soon, go sign up to get notified for the We Suck at Comics. And as a bonus, we have a Shadow Rabbit art piece, not clay, but an art piece that is going to be attached to my story in this issue. So, you know, that's a double incentive for you guys to go sign up, get notified. You should be doing that anyway, because it's free to sign up to get notified, and it helps out the project, because the more people they have following, the better in the algorithm they start their whole Kickstarter experience.
Absolutely.
And of course, End of Zed is now funded, and he's now at 1726. 61 backers, 6 days to go. Folks, if you guys I love that New York feel, you know what? I'm going to let the video talk for itself because I just love this video.
My name is Eddie Lima, and I'm the creator of End of Zed, a project I've been working on for years. The story follows a robot who crash lands in the Bronx in 1982, severely damaged and with no memory, as he navigates one of the city's most turbulent times, shaped by the rise of the crack epidemic. He also discovers the powerful, positive force of hip-hop.
Where am I? Party people, are we ready? 3, 2, 1.
End of Zed isn't just another comic. It fuses the rebellious energy of New York City with a gripping dystopian narrative. This story delivers visually striking action and powerful themes. If you're into bold, unapologetic storytelling, then the End of Zed is for you. By backing this project, you're not only helping bring Zed's story to life, but you'll gain access to exclusive rewards. I can't wait for all of you to experience Zed's world. Back my project today and become part of this amazing journey.
Just love it. It's a great project. Go support it. You know, I like when he describes it because it's like the wild robot and the warriors put together. Now that's a great combination, folks. And of course, our friend is still trying to make this work. So let's put this up. This game is beautiful. It looks amazing. He's trying to get to 75,000. He's at 23,000. He only has a couple of days to go on this too, I think. 6 days to go. Oh, so he you know, it's amazing that he's gotten to 23,000, but folks, he's trying to get to 75,000. So if you guys can help him out, this is a great game for you guys to play with. It's part of a whole thing on itself, and go check it out. It's really like all the bits and pieces he's put together on this thing are just amazing. Yeah, it is a beautifully crafted game. If you like your games, you're gonna love this. It's like having a chance to play World of Warcraft in person. It's all beautiful. Look how beautiful it is, folks. Come on. You know you want some. Exactly. Mr. Nat, is there anything else?
Not that I'm aware of.
I think that's everything. Tony, you got anything?
Nope.
All right, folks. So, Mark, let's start with you. Tell the people where they can find you so they can go check you out and all the beautiful things you do.
Easiest place is itcamefromradio.com. That's www.itcamefromradio.com. Archives are up in a week or so of a live show we do. Like I said, we're on every Sunday, WGBB, Long Island's oldest radio station. That's 95.9 FM and 1240 AM. That's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're also on WARY. That's 88.1 FM in Westchester County, where you can hear repeats of the show. I think he said it was Mondays after 10 p.m. he runs it. We're also on sci-fi.radio, BTD Radio, which are online radio stations, a couple others I can't think of right now, over 45 different podcast places. And also, like I said, we have a live radio show at the East Meadow Public Library. At the East Meadow Public Library, that's www.eastmeadow.info. Usually it's a free event. Everybody can come down and be part of a live studio audience, and we always have free stuff to give away. We gave away tickets to the Long Island Trading Card Game Show. We give away tickets to conventions. We give away, usually I guess it gives away something as well. And my book Designated. That's once again, just go to our website, www.itcamefromradio.com. A little button on there takes you right to the crowdfunder page. Issue 1 you can still buy. As I said, we have issues available right here. They're actually physical, existing books, which is actually funny. I only have 4 more left of the variant cover by Francesco, who is the most famous for working on Savage She Dragon. of Image Comics, and then the regular book is the cover is done by the boys artist Russ Braun. It has inks by Peter Palmiotti, which is Jimmy's brother, and it's about two warring alien races fighting over a new discovered power source or find its way to planet Earth, and as a result, some humans gain abilities. That's all on www.itcamefromair.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter. We have an Instagram page. I haven't used it in forever, so don't go there.
I think I'm more on your Instagram page than you are. And of course, this weekend we will be at Big Apple Con, hanging out, having fun, and talking to all the beautiful people there. Keith Williams will be there, and if you guys have a chance, you should tongue-tied. You should go check out the legendary Keith Williams and have a commission done by him because he does good art. And I think that is everything. Well, no, James, Cheech, one more time. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can get us at artcarp.net or at the ArtCarp on either TikTok or Instagram. Instagram is really the best way to get us, though.
There you have it, folks. And you know you want to go and hire them to do something for you. I can hear the wheels turning out there. I know you DMs out there going, ooh,
we can build your dreams. All you got to do is ask.
There you go, folks. And with that,
pay. And pay.
Exactly.
50% up front, okay?
Oh, man, that's a lot of work.
Hey.
All right, folks. I'll do what we always do here on the show. I'll press the button, and where it stops,